Hello everyone, it's Mike from Chess Lifestyle, and today we are training half an hour of chess because I need to get to bed and life has been hectic. Unfortunately, I missed yesterday's stream. Like my train back to Liverpool was delayed considerably, but I think I've just been a bit overwhelmed with too much stuff, and these streams always take a back foot when life gets in the way. But we can still try and train half an hour. But it's better than nothing. And the reason why we're actually sleeping on time today is not only do I have work tomorrow morning, but I have also decided to pay a friend £50 if I don't answer their call in the morning at 9 a.m. every single day. So that's the plan. Basically, I need more motivation to get up on time, go to sleep on time, because I think that will just increase my productivity during the day, which ultimately I need if I am going to, manage everything that I need to manage. So that's the plan. And welcome, Josh, to the stream. Good to see you here. Let's get into some training. So we're going to continue with Woodpecker. We're still on the intermediate exercises. Let us put in some work. No. I'm not paying them £50 a day. Sorry, I should have clarified. I'm paying them £50 if I don't pick up their call. So that's the deal, right? Like if I oversleep and do not pick up the phone, then I have to pay them £50. So that forces me to actually have to go to bed to ensure that I wake up. Right? This is the deal. So I'll set my alarm 15 minutes before, and then if I've had good sleep, then I should wake up. Like there should be no reason not to wake up. So this forces me to go to bed early because I'm not gonna mess around and sleep at 5 a.m. if I'm risking these kind of bets, right? So that's the idea. Yeah, every day I don't pick up is £50 exactly. So yeah, I might go broke if I don't fix my sleep schedule. So I have to fix my sleep schedule. That's the point. That's the point. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed I get it sorted. Okay, so let's start thinking. We've got Queen, Rook, Rook, Bishop, Knight against Queen, Rook, Rook, Knight, Knight. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, fine. So got Spassky against Brunner. What to understand about the position? Oh god, my brain is just, it's so hard to get into chess brain. Okay, let's really try. Let's actually be able to think. Okay. Right, so we've got our king is pretty safe and there's no back rank on the horizon. Their king, we've got a queen on the line of it, but otherwise it looks relatively safe. This knight doesn't feel that coordinated, although maybe we can switch attack. Okay, any piece tension going on? There's the bishop onto the knight. Okay, is it gonna work? Okay, there we go. Bishop onto the knight. Knight onto the pawn. Knight onto this pawn. You see how slow it is? You see how slow it is? Oh my god, my brain. Like, I don't even have any excuse. Like, it's not even like I've been, I don't know, doom scrolling or something to lead to this kind of brain fog. It's just like, yeah, it's just my brain. It's just my brain. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so X-rays, we've got the queen, we've got the rook. Maybe the queen is X-raying this way. Bishop is X-raying on the rook. Yeah, and if I make it to a chess master one day, it shows that hard work and pure grit and determination is enough to make it to a chess master, because his brain definitely doesn't get there through talent. I can tell you that much. Okay. What checks do we have? We got no checks. Do we have any captures? We got takes, we got takes, we got takes. What threats do we have? We got queen here or queen here? What about loose pieces? I forgot that's a thing we normally do, right? Loose pieces? No loose pieces, okay. So, okay, let's begin with our most forcing moves. This threatens checkmate in 1 and wins a pawn, so what happens if they take? Do we have a follow-up? Not that I can see. What if we take here? They can take back. Again, I don't see anything, so I guess it must be one of these threats. But what if they just play like a move like h6? Then maybe I can play this because I've got some X-ray pressure on this knight, right? Maybe I can now play this, and then if they take, then I can take. And probably take with bishop? Although it's not clear, right? Because queen h4, h6, I take. If they take, they're also hitting my d-pawn. But my queen is also defending it, so if I take with the bishop... But then they've got moves like g5, which look very uncomfortable, because if I take on h6, they can take my bishop. But it definitely looks promising. So queen h4, h6, knight takes e6. Knight takes e6. Probably then queen takes e7 is needed. I guess the queen is being attacked, so then if queen takes e7, bishop takes e7. And they go rook e8. Are we not losing this d4 pawn? I feel like we're dropping this d4 pawn. Queen h4, h6, knight e6, knight takes. I feel like queen takes is necessary. Queen takes, bishop takes, and then rook e8. I guess we could argue bishop d6, knight takes d4, and we have this passed e-pawn. And claim that's advantage. And to be fair, the d-pawn is probably dropping, right? I mean, I wanted to play c3, but then there's knight e2 check, and then they pick up the c-pawn. So maybe we just go straight in with rook d1 to hit the knight. And try and win this d-pawn. I think it somewhat works, because if they take on c2, then rook a2 traps their knight, I think. I think that looks somewhat legit. Oh, hold up. Why don't we change the move order? What if we just take on h7 first? If we take on h7 first and they don't do anything, we just drop the knight back. And if they take, then we go queen h4. Yeah, that's so much cleaner. So just look at your damn forcing moves. I don't know why we weren't able to see it. And okay, let's actually think. This time there's no g5 in between, because we can always take or take. There's no pawn on h6. So what makes more sense, actually? Because actually both moves come with tempo on the rook. Can they avoid the trade? Maybe they can play like rook f7? But then we can trade, right? And we probably want to trade because, yeah, we've got a bishop. That means, yeah, we probably want to trade the queens. Okay. Yeah, no, I think queen takes makes most sense. White should keep the queens on the board partly to... Is that... Partly? I guess that's the word. Partly to attack black's king and partly to avoid light square blockade. I mean, we'll just have to check with an engine, but I genuinely think queen takes is better. Let's have a look. Not that chessboard engine's very good, but... I'm really surprised. This is equal. Rook f7. Okay, let's play bishop g5. Fine. Rook c8. And this is an issue, huh? c3. Okay, fine. They can't take because their knight is loose. So they play knight b7. And then they go knight a5 and knight c4. Okay, fine. So the point is their knight can actually get very strong. And that's not really a case if the queen takes. That's kind of crazy. I guess in fact actually like our pawns are on the dark squares. So actually that's why our bishop is kind of a bit bad. Okay, at least we got the first answer correct. Okay, rook e8. Bishop g5 now. What if they just play for the same plan? Yeah, let's try this queen f7. And now c4 is already good. Why can't they just take? It's even saying like a4 is good. So what if just knight here? Same idea. Rook a3. Wow, okay, so the king is really weak. Point being rook h3, I assume. Okay, and queen g6 to defend and make a window. Apparently rook g3. Okay, fine. I mean, when I look at this, I don't think of the king as particularly weak, but actually this rook lift idea is very good. So even if, you know, we've still got a pawn on the h-file and they don't, there's still an attack that's quite instructive. Alright, let's see what people are saying. Frizz, I'm glad to hear you enjoyed the Friday podcast. Yeah, I was thinking in the back of my mind that, you know, because I didn't get around to streaming, at least people had the podcast to watch. Yeah, Grishuk was the one who got angry about the time management. Yeah, knight 7, king h7, queen h4, literally. Actually, I should probably look at my other line, where I was trying to calculate queen h4 initially. So queen h4, h6, and I was looking at knight takes e6. Knight takes e6, and then I was thinking queen takes e7, queen e7, bishop e7, and then I thought, yeah, rook moves. Oh, they can attack the c pawn instead, but if rook to e8, I think I said bishop d6, and I felt this was fine for white after rook f d1, and I thought taking on c2, I thought this was trapping the knight. But I guess there's actually no way to win it. If they play rook c8, why can't we just play like something like this? Because then that gives up this square, and we can't do this without giving up this square. And somehow the knight is never trapped. I don't believe it. Oh, Jesus Christ, knight d4, and knight e1, I guess there is rook a1. But then the knight can always go back at the very least. The knight d4 is nice. Yeah, long variation, wrong variation. That's the rule. That's the rule. You can't be expected to see everything. Yeah. So yeah, just knight h7. Okay, and then there's some debate about taking on d7 with which piece. Okay, both of you guys. Okay. So Josh was saying bishop takes and Fritz was saying queen takes, which is what I was also saying. But yeah, the attack makes sense. Welcome Mark Decker to the stream. And also welcome Jan. Mark says, it's been ages since I've been able to catch a stream. Played my first Garganitz in a classical this week. Yo, how did it go? How did it go? That's the big question. I want to know. Was it a win? Was it a draw? Was it a loss? Feel free to send the game. I mean, you won't be able to send a link on chat, but if you send it to my Lichess, then we could put it up on stream. Knight takes h7, f4. What do you mean f4, Jan? Like, why just play queen h4? Seems fine, no? Okay, let's move on. Okay, we got Spassi against Yusupov. White to play. Isn't this just checkmate? Rook g7, king takes, rook f7 check. King is forced to go h8, and there must be a mate here. Just knight g6 is mate. I mean, what am I missing? Rook g7. Okay, that means they can't take. They have to play king h8. But if they have to play king h8, maybe we just double the rooks on the 7th, and then that's surely mate when h7 is forced. I guess they could play bishop here to block, but I mean, we just take and we're just up a knight. Has to be winning. Rook g7 is completely winning. And I just take? Seriously? I mean, why is this in the same chapter? Like, it's literally just... Oh, you can actually sack the rook that way. That's kind of cute. But I think like, let's see if my move was also winning, just doubling rooks on the 7th. Yeah, I was seeing like bishop here might defend the checkmate. Oh wow, knight g6. Yeah, just freaking blind. I mean, at least this is still winning. Like I didn't see the checkmate, but I knew that, like, you know, this has to be winning. But yeah, no, at least we got it. Yeah, interesting that. Yeah, no, I thought this one was quite simple. But maybe it's just because like rooks on the 7th tactics were like always something I particularly worked on as a junior. So maybe that's why it's like ingrained much better than other tactics. Okay, Spassky against Timon. Timon to play and win. Queen rook rook bishop knight against queen rook rook bishop knight. 1 3 4 5 against 1 3 4 5. So, we've got a knight near the king, maybe some potential for forks, especially given the king and queen are close. Bishop is on the line of the king, queen is kind of on the line of the king. Focus. We've got opposite colored bishops. What about x-rays? What about loose pieces? So this is loose. There's some x-ray pressure here. This is loose. This is only defended by the queen. Only defended by the rook. Only defended by the bishop. This guy is loose. Loose. Fine. Okay, so what checks do we have? We've got one check. What captures do we have? We got bishop takes here, we got knight takes here, we got rook takes here. Queen takes here as well. What threats do we have? Maybe knight e2. no, that makes no sense. I was like, we go here with a fork. That's pretty meta. Metal. I meant to say metal. Genuinely, I need to retire as a human being already. Like my brain doesn't work anymore. Any other threats in this position? Surely there's something to do with this loose rook, right? Let's not forget about that. Maybe knight f3 then, right? Because that threatens checkmate and then also the rook. So that looks pretty good of a threat. The other captures intuitively don't look like they do anything. So what about just this knight f3 and then win the rook? Has to be this. There's literally... Okay, what about a move like knight g4? Is that really annoying? Because it covers mate and it hits our queen. No, we just take care anyway. I mean, it's just winning. Yeah. I guess another simple one, actually. Okay, very nice, Josh. Knight f3. You got it. Knight g4 is a candidate, and ignore it and just take the rook. Okay, I'm glad... this idea came up as well. Knight g4, we got queen takes b2. If knight takes f6, where's this knight takes f6 coming from? After the knight g4, right? Knight g4, and we just take the rook. Let's have a look at this. Knight g4, we take the rook, and if knight takes f6, the queen is still on it though. So maybe that's a visualization error for us. And queen b1 leading to mate, maybe not with the queen here. So I don't know if you're talking about a slightly different position. Because if white takes here, then it's black's turn, right? Okay, we get the yes from Frizz, so I assume there's also... there's just some visualization errors going on there, but... Yeah. Okay, Marcus sent the game to Ponziani Master. Okay, we will definitely make that a goal to have a quick look at that game. Let's do one more puzzle, and then we'll have a look at the game, and then we'll call it a day. Because I need to wake up on time tomorrow. Yeah. Right, we got queen, rook, bishop, knight, queen, rook, bishop. Okay, so they've got rook for knight. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. King safety, maybe our king is a little bit exposed, but pretty alright. Their king is quite exposed, but also not so easy to bring in our pieces. I guess, I mean, this one is quite big. This is covered by the bishop, though. They've got some x-ray pressure on our queen, pressure on the knight, pressure on this pawn. Maybe some pressure here, kind of irrelevant. So, okay. Loose piece on e7, loose piece on f4. Loose bishop. X-ray over here, X-ray, I guess, this way. Some X-ray pressure on B squared, so knight f3 might be particularly strong. I guess I'd start with calculating this knight f3 real quick, because it is just very forcing, I think. If they move the king, then at the very least we can take the rook, and we have a nice position. So I feel like queen takes is necessary. But maybe, the point is just that we can't just recapture because they take our queen and we're a rook down. But what we can do is take their rook, and when they take back, we take back, and then we've just equalized in material and actually stayed a pawn up. So I think there's not anything else to look at aside from knight f3. It has to be knight f3. Because bishop f3 maybe, but maybe they can do the opposite to us. Maybe they can throw this in and win 2 pieces. I guess we take with a pawn maybe. I guess bishop takes f3 is interesting as well, annoyingly. But what if they just, you know, move their queen somewhere? Like, maybe not there. That's probably a horrendous square. I don't know. Maybe there's no good square for the queen. Maybe it's just good. I don't know. Like, if bishop takes here, and they have to move someone like queen c1, then queen h4, like, why is black not even win, you know? Maybe bishop takes is just stronger. Queen takes, knight takes, and then takes. Maybe black is just winning if bishop takes. So I don't like these squares because there's so much potential for a fork. But let's see, if they go queen d2. Maybe just queen h4, and we're threatening queen g4. It looks so strong. I feel like bishop takes is just correct. If they take here, I just take with the pawn. Oh shit, they take here. If I take here, they take my rook, so it's not just equal. So wait, bishop takes, rook takes here. Oh, I hate these captures. Are so confusing to keep track of. Okay. Materials equal. We have slightly better pawn structure. Bishop takes f3, we win a pawn. Rook takes e5, they win a knight. If we take their queen, they take our queen. They're up. Oh, the material's not equal at the start. Michael, come on. We are an exchange down. We are an exchange down at the start. Yeah, then I think we just take with a knight and we just settle for the draw. I really don't think this works. They just take here. Yeah, okay, we take with the knight. We take here. Okay, it's good that we at least looked at it. And for some reason, I was thinking about pawn takes and then material is equal, which I guess it is. But even then, why do I accept equal when he just takes back the pawn and it's just equal when we could be a pawn up in this position? So I don't know why I was even considering this, given that it's just equal. But my rook is even hanging on a8. Oh man, that was tricky. Okay, yeah, Mark, we'll have a look at your game now. Like, I'm curious to see it. Played against 1600 at the local club, was a win. Very nice. And I think Mark is around 1900, 2000 level, if I remember correctly. So I guess it's an expected win in some ways. For the previous exercise was knight takes f6, king h8, but my point was you don't need to play king h8, I think. I don't know. Bishop takes f3 looks intuitively right. Interesting. Yeah, bishop f3, rook e5. Knight f3 I wouldn't say instantly, just in case bishop takes f3 is winning. But I guess it wasn't. So I guess I treated this pretty well. In the course, you mentioned that Arco has been grinding 2v3 pawn in his entire career. Can you suggest some resources to study playing equal but unbalanced endgames? I mean, Keith Arco's book, what is it called? Arkle's endings. They're just basically analyzed games from Arkle, from opening to endgame, where they're all just grindy. So I guess Arkle's endings would be a very good recommendation. Yeah, the endgame strategy book, that chapter in particular would be particularly good. Yeah, and I guess at the end of the day, Mark did ask for end games, not necessarily middle games. So yeah, probably that would be a good recommendation. Yeah, let's have a look at this. That means I have to open my inbox, which should be fine. Jan's probably sending me suicidal messages, but it's fine. It's fine. Okay, let's have a look. So, okay, we got a classical. We played d5. Oh, let me change the overlay before we ruin the end of this stream. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so we have classical Garganetza, and they play with h3. We take, and we go knight f6. So normally, if they're trying to play for any advantage, they would take on f6, and then white can choose between these two moves, and then we castle, they castle, and we go for this setup where put the knight on d5, bishop on e6, queen on d7, rook on e8, and we eventually make advances on the king side, drop the bishop back to f7, bring the bishop round to d6, put the king on g7, and slowly take space on the king side, slowly improve our position, and yeah, never be worse. But okay, he goes knight bishop d3, and what I found with this move is that yeah, taking on e4 is good, and the point is that this bishop's actually a bit of a target. So we're gonna go like knight e7, c5, and we eventually hit this bishop, maybe even get the bishop pair if we're lucky. So castles is fine, very good. Knight d7 exactly, and c5 would be my next move. Okay, c5, perfect. He didn't take. So I think I've had positions where I just ignored the tension in the center, but I've analyzed positions where taking is correct. So I think I would just take. Yep, that's exactly what Mark has done. Great. And now we really need to think of where are the best squares for our pieces. Knight c5 is probably the instinct here. If the bishop goes back on this diagonal, then I'd be looking for maybe knight e6 and getting this trade, and just saying that these bishops on these diagonals followed by pushing these pawns just looks like a very strong way to attack. If the bishop goes back to f3, what would be the way to deal with that? Maybe even e5, e4 if we're feeling super ambitious. But it's always you do weaken squares as you push this along, right? Like d6 would weaken, but it's probably good. So okay, knight c5 was played, bishop c2 was played, knight e6. Okay, so basically Mark is playing just like me. I hope that's a good sign. So knight f3 declining the offer of the knights. Let's just have a very quick look at what the plan would have been had white played bishop f3. Okay. So e5 is just not good. Oh wow. Knight c6. Oh shit, there's a hanging knight. I got a bit too callous. Yeah, so maybe let's not hang our pieces. So actually this is a bit uncomfortable already. So what the hell did we do wrong? e5 in this position is another way to equalize. I guess that's just equalizing. I think c5 plays for an advantage, even if Engine is a bit of a hater. Okay, cd4, it could not be wrong. So maybe knight c5 is the slightly inaccurate move. Interesting that knight f6, bishop f3, e5 is the way to go. Right, e5 definitely popped up, right? So when the knight's not hanging on c5, then maybe this is better. Knight b5 is still apparently annoying. This is what I mean about weakening the d6 square. And already we're having to play very carefully, so I'm really surprised. So maybe actually what we're learning from this engine analysis here is that we should not take on d4 while the bishop is on e4, because then that gives them a square on f3. So maybe what we're learning here is we need to play knight f6 first. And then once the bishop moves back somewhere, then we take on d4. And then we don't care if they take on d4. And then here we can even play like b6, bishop b7. So maybe that's the lesson to be learned. And we just need to make sure that we don't get like wrecked by any of these kind of moves. With bishop a6 defends the rook, queen d5 is also fine. So actually this is quite an important detail then. And this is what I mean about like, you know, analyzing your games like with an engine and trying to get to these conclusions yourself. Because I mean, you know, a course can cover like the bare bones, but like these kind of subtleties, I mean, like I can go into such details, but it's like this is really specific to, you know, already a rare line. So it's like, yeah, you've got to just try and find out this stuff yourself. So yeah, now I'm learning from this as well. Like I need to be a bit careful of this bishop a3. Maybe this is uncomfortable. So knight f6 first would be better. So okay, that's a slight inaccuracy. Okay, let's turn this back off. So he declines, queen c7, fine. Especially when there are no targets on these squares, the queen is very well placed. I'd still be looking for my plan to push the 2 pawns and have the bishop on e6. Like, I really like this bishop here. Maybe I'd even play with, like, h6 so that my bishop is a bit more secure, but really what I want to do is just trade off this knight. Bishop d7, I guess this is another way to develop. And trade the rook. Now, there is a rule in Arkel's Endings book, which is the 2v3 is better for the side with the 2 pawns when the rooks stay on the board, because what it means is you can use the 2 pawns to spearhead the 3, break up the 3 pawns, and then there'll be a weak pawn, and your rooks will be able to gang up on it, and at the very least, you will make your opponent's rook passive. If you imagine, let's say the c pawn is like an isolated pawn, and these guys all trade, you have the rooks on this c file, and the rooks are passive defending. So while the rooks are passive defending, you create a second weakness, and then you win, right? So that is the principle. So when you play with the 2 versus 3, you should try and keep the rooks on. If you trade both rooks and you trade the queens, the 3 versus 2 is actually an advantage for white, because white will push the majority, make a pass pawn, and then white will be better. Maybe even winning. So I think rook d8 is inaccurate. Like, I don't know what the engine says, but okay, rook a d8 top move, fine. But okay, maybe it's like we don't want to trade both rooks. But okay, I mean, this is the principle. I mean, engine will find some concrete way to say anything, and I mean, this has worked for me, and it's worked for Keith Arkel. So I mean, I trust the principle, to be honest. Knight f4 is a really nice move though, because it looks like, you know, we don't lose the pawn on e7 because no, the knight is defending. But maybe it's not defending, right? So we can take on f3 and then take. So a move like knight f4 is definitely more in the realms of what I would be looking for. Because if I can get the bishop pair, have this 2 versus 3 advantage with the rooks on the board, then I feel quite happy. But okay, rook d8, fine, we get a trade. Knight f4 comes. Yeah, what would have happened if knight f4 came and queen d1 in this position? Oh, this is actually a very good move as well. Okay, fine. So maybe that's little annoying, but okay. We get this knight f4, and then we go b5. This is very nice. Tickle the king side. Why not? Provoke some weaknesses. Okay, and here I would probably just go, unless there's a big threat that I'm missing. Like I'd want to play like a5 and prepare b4. Maybe put the rook on b8 first. Okay, we first kick the queen. I'm always a little bit nervous about weakening the g6 pawn by pushing the h pawn, but if concretely it's working, then fine. a4. Yeah, oh, okay, to be fair, h5, h4 is really nice, actually, to undermine this, especially with our bishops. Okay, probably this is actually very strong. Trade, win a pawn, beautiful. And then I guess we can still play for the minority attack, but we're already up a pawn, so it's like maybe there's something even better we can play. Like maybe even like queen f4 or something. King d7 I'm sure is fine, even with the idea to bring the rook to this side. I wonder what the engine says is best. King d7, queen f4, is this terrible? Ah, okay, so actually again it's a case of like the king being weak is more of an important factor than Okay, I mean, it's still completely winning, but rook d7 is the real issue. That we're actually just potentially losing a pawn back. Why is rook takes hit? Oh my god, there's a fork, so it's not even winning a pawn. I don't know, guys. I guess the pawn is maybe just not enough, but I think in practical terms, I mean, the bishop and rook should just outplay the knight and rook. I would really expect to grind this out. But of course, like, yeah, there's probably unnecessary. E5. Okay, sticky square on f4, very solid. Harass the king, bring the queen in, and wow, we get a resignation. I mean, is it really completely over? I would try something, like knight h4 maybe. Try and threaten some knight f5. You know, if there's queen e4, then I can always block queen f3. I mean, knight h4, the game continues, right? What am I missing? Queen e4, queen f3? And it's still a position. Like, it's not like completely lost. But okay, no, on the whole, Mark, I mean, this was a beautiful game. I mean, I think, like, yeah, we learned this one subtlety in the opening about, like, this when to take on d4. But aside from that, like, you probably played better moves than I would be able to. So, yeah, no, this was a beautiful game. I guess thank you, Kevs, for the comment. I don't know, is stud a good thing or a bad thing? I don't even know. I thought like stud is like a real boomer word, so I am very confused. But okay, Mark says, there is a section in Practical Endgame Play Beyond the Basics by Glenn Fleer. Yes, that's a fantastic book. That's a fantastic book, Josh. I don't know if I recommended that to you, but that's a fantastic book. Oh, you say you've not read it, but worth checking out. I actually haven't read all of it myself, but from what I have read it was really good. Wasn't taking on d4 and then knight c5 given in the course, though, with rook e1 instead of bishop e3? It might well be. I mean, as you just saw, I'm learning this as well. I mean, the course, like, is not, like, absolutely perfect. I mean, I'm still learning this. I'm building on my understanding of this repertoire myself. So it could well be. But I wonder then, does it make a difference, this knight c5? I mean, from my previous analysis, knight c5 is what I understood to be the right idea. But maybe it makes a difference. Like, let's actually have a look. cd4? Oh, how interesting. So here, after rook e1, for some reason knight f6 is not as strong. Although this still looks fine. Ah, there's no b6 here. There's no b6 here because there's knight c6, knight takes e7 now that the rook is on e1. So maybe this does make a difference. Whereas with the rook on e1, if we take immediately and they take back with a knight, and now we go knight c5, you see it's top engine move. So yeah, but I should give myself more credit. Like, the course isn't done shoddily. And if bishop f3, now e5. So I wasn't tripping. This kind of stuff is legit. So okay, what's the point? If knight b5, which was the problem in some of the other lines, here we can go knight d3 and we get the fork. So we see these subtleties are very, very important. From afar, it doesn't look so important, but that's why I think as well. It's like you need to really play this opening, any opening that you study. You need to analyze the games properly, and you need to look at this stuff, because the more you look at this stuff, the more you appreciate these nuances. And then when it actually comes in a game, there's more chance you find it. Like, I didn't remember when I was giving this analysis just now. I didn't remember, like, exactly the concrete details. I just had ideas, right? And then once you actually get the position on the board and you see bishop e3 or rook e1, you try and, like, logic your way through it based on the themes and understanding you have. And hopefully by the end of studying the course, you'll be bombarded with different themes and understandings. And then if you analyze your games as well thoroughly, then you also learn even more, and then you just become a stronger player. And I think the Gurgenitsa Modern is a fantastic opening for building that kind of understanding. But yeah, no, very, very interesting game, Mark. And who knows, maybe I'll actually try and download this VOD and turn this into a video for some of the viewers, because I think some people would probably appreciate this game and analysis and find it quite fun to learn from. So yeah, thank you, Mark, for sending the game. I completely agree, Frizz, that h5 h4 was a very cool idea to undermine the king side and manage to win a pawn. And yeah, good training, everyone. I better get to sleep because, as I mentioned, I've got money on the line to wake up on time tomorrow. So yeah, I better sleep. And thank you for tuning in as always. So I guess see you on Monday for another training stream. Okay,